Ms. Sway, good to see you. Wonderful to have you with us. Let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of new cyber threats in recent days and weeks.
The new threats. I think this week has certainly seen a lot of shifts that are fundamental in terms of the threat actors and the attacks that are flying back and forth all over the world. I think in a lot of ways we woke up from last week to this week in a new period of cyber risks that I don't think we've seen before.
When does a cyber attack transform from being merely a nuisance to being an act of war?
That's a very good question. So how about this? When your lights go out, right? So, if Facebook doesn't work for a few minutes, yeah, maybe that's a serious thing, but, that might be a nuisance. But what we're seeing here is a very rapid escalation of both sides, well, many sides of attacks that are starting to touch things that very much go into active war territory and not just mere nuisances.
And so then what is the response of those who have been victimized or the government of the country in which those victims exist? In other words, if a cyber attack debilitated the electric grid of Poland, for example, then the Polish government could perceive that to be an attack on Poland, which would then be an attack on NATO, which could then occasion a full-blown response on the part of NATO and other countries.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I think we're in such a high-risk period. Yes, if we disrupt the critical infrastructure or anyone disrupt the critical infrastructure of another sovereign country, something that touches, for example, the power grid, I think that counts as an act of war in almost everyone's books. And I would say, last week, I didn't think that the United States really needed to worry about it. Not nearly as much as we need to think about the risks that we're facing, this week and going forward. And actually, I want to, I made a list. So right now, there's a open bug bounty. So basically a call for people to report vulnerabilities in computer systems and critical infrastructure that basically anybody in the world can contribute to. And at least the claim is that they're going to take these vulnerabilities that these pro bono people are giving and put it, quote unquote, in the right hands of the Ukrainian IT army. So let me read you a list of the types of vulnerabilities that they're looking for. Number one, government, military. So that's point one. Media. I'm on media. You're a media. So that's number two. Telecom ISP. Number three, infrastructure and SCADA, which is industrial control, the things that control factories and things like that. And then banks and insurance. And then the last one is public services. Right. So I would say that a lot of these things would certainly not count merely as, nuisances. I mean, all of these are probably things that we count as if somebody touched it, act of war.
And these are places, Ang, that you think people are trying to shore up defenses right now? No. These are
things that the internet is openly soliciting vulnerabilities or things that enable cyber attacks against right now. So if you have a way of attacking, let's say, the media, telecom, government, military against any Russian or Russian-friendly infrastructure, then all you have to do is click on a button and submit a report, and that vulnerability will, go into the people running this thing, and what happens next, right?
Yeah.
Is anyone's guess.